Hello and welcome to another video in my Cthulhu Wars series. In this video we're going to be talking about Cosmic Terrors and Ramsey Campbell's Horrors Parts 1 and 2. And that's then going to leave us with the Great Old One packs. So that's going to be in the next and sort of final video in the Onslaught unboxing. The only bit I've got really left to talk about after that is the rulebook and my overall review of the game. That's probably going to be a few days whilst I kind of replay the game, get my head around the tweaks to the rules, and as it's probably clear, I am in love with this game, otherwise why would I have bought all of this crazy amount of stuff? Anyway, let's get these boxes open. Well, the Cosmic Terrors box has some really cool minis in. We have the enormous doll, who is just, it's really big. We've then got this chap or lady, Quachil'utas. I'm not sure who that is, I'm not very familiar with that, and possibly one of my favourite figures, the Great Race of Yeth. So really looking forward to having a closer look at these. So let's get the minis out, have a look at them, and then we'll have a look at the unit cards. Now the doll is, as I've already mentioned, a really massive figure. You've got this rock sort of exploding up out the ground, and then this gnarly worm twisting around with its little kind of gill kind of pieces, great big claws with a spiky mouth. It's a really cool figure. It's obviously been in a bit of battle. It's got some scars there. It's got a couple of joins. There's one just in here and one here, which you know, do show up a little bit, and a little one here with a bit of green stuff and paint that would soon disappear, but if you're not painting, it's just a game piece, who cares? But again, maintaining the quality you've come to expect from Cthulhu Wars, and it's got a real weight. Now, one of my criticisms of the game is it's ridiculously over the top production when it doesn't need to be, but that's sort of what the point. I mean, you pick this up, it's got a weight to it, and it's an impressive thing, and you put it down, and it's just fabulous from that point of view. Now, I think the game would have been better as a 10mm game, so everything could have been, well, at least 50% smaller, probably more, like 60% smaller, without too much trouble. I mean, 10-15mm would have been better, in my opinion, would have made the game a bit smaller, a bit cheaper, but that's not the point of it. It's meant to be this over-the-top production, and this is one of those figures that fits into that. Now, just to give you a little bit of a sense of scale, I've got one of my glow-in-the-dark figures here. I mean, look at that. It's bigger than this guy. I reckon it's not far off Cthulhu. Let me just grab Cthulhu. Yeah, there you go. Cthulhu's not much bigger. I mean, it gets up to about the head of Cthulhu. So yes, you've got the wings, but weight-wise, they're close. They're close in weight, so both really hefty figures. And again, when you deploy Cthulhu, it's like, nom nom nom. Fantastic. Right, that is the doll. I think we should move on. Let's have a look at this guy, Quachil'utas. So many impossible to pronounce names in this game. And what a cool figure this is. Sort of a whirlwind, almost tentacle-like, but isn't, with this kind of skeletal, kind of weird fish. I mean, to me, this actually would be, with a slight modification, be really cool as a kind of a deep one, actually. Really like this. I'm going to have to read up about this figure and work out what the hell it is, because I don't recognise it from the mythos, so not sure why that is. I'm normally pretty good at knowing these things, but that is an amazing sculpt, and it's big. Again, it's another big old figure. I'm probably going to have to try and grab a 28mm figure at some stage just to give you a sense of scale on all of these figures, but yeah, that is impressive. Doesn't have too many mould lines. Some of the figures are better than others in that regard, but yeah, that is just really amazing figure. Let's make sure it's actually focused in on the figure properly. There you go, look at that. That is just, what a great figure that is. Love it, love it. Fingers and arms maybe a little bit vulnerable if I'm criticising, but yeah, minor point. Okay, last but not least, in my opinion, is the Great Race. I love these guys. I mean, he's got a weapon of some description over his shoulder here. He's got his little weird, oops, make sure he's in camera, his weird little head. He's got this kind of beaky tentacle. I mean, it's just fantastic. Really, really cool story that introduced us to these guys. I love them. That is just really excellent miniature. You know, concerns again with protuberances being a bit vulnerable if you're not careful, but yeah, that is just a magnificent figure, and that is definitely another one high up on my list of to be painted first if I ever get round to it. If you're holding your breath for me to paint these figures, guys, yeah, you might die. It's going to take me a while to build up the enthusiasm to paint these, because you've got to clean them up, a little bit of green stuff for any gaps, and you know, then get going on them. And I've already got a massive painting mountain as it is, but I think these figures do deserve a paint job, and some of the paint jobs I've seen online transform these figures from being just amazing in their raw plastic to just stunning. Anyway, let's stop waffling. Let's talk about the power. Let's start off with this guy, whose name I can't pronounce. So, pay 2 doom and 2 power to obtain this loyalty card. Oh, okay, so that's a little bit more pricey than your regular units. Costs 4 to redeploy and has a combat of 1. However, in post-battle, if an enemy unit is killed or eliminated in a battle, the owner must choose one of the following options. Select one of his lost units to be permanently removed from the game, or you receive an Elder sign. Wow, that's pretty harsh. So give you points or permanently destroy a unit. Yeah, what an unpleasant chap he is. There's only one of him, as there are for all 3 of these figures. Thank goodness for that, hey? Right, the Doll then. Massive guy. Again, 2 and 2. Cost 4, combat of 5. Planetary destruction. That doesn't sound good. So after a battle, if the Doll is killed or eliminated in a battle, earn 2 Elder signs. In addition, your opponent earns 2 doom or 2 power of your choice. Okay, that's an interesting little choice there. So get, I don't know, what is it, 2 to 6 victory points, but you've got to give them 2 doom or 2 power. Probably power, unless the doom is a little bit irrelevant, I guess. Great Race of Yith then. Cost 4, combat of 3. It's got a possession ability, ongoing, and also the gather power phase. So if your Great Race of Yith is in the area, you can capture an enemy cultist regardless of the presence of enemy monsters, terrors, or great old ones. So that's pretty cool. And also avoids the Windwalker's Ferox ability by the sounds of it. In addition, if the Great Race of Yith is in play during the gather power phase, earn 1 point per captured cultist. Okay, so that's cool. So if you capture cultists, which this guy makes it easier to do, you get a power normally, but this guy gives you an extra power. I like him. He's a fun guy. Now, he's combat 3, so that's pretty decent. Yeah, I do like these Cosmic Terrors. Now, how do you recruit them? They're slightly different. So Terrors are summoned like monsters with the Summon Terror action, requiring a controlled gate. They're effectively monsters with regard to capturing cultists, and basically monsters are going to stop terrors from doing this and vice versa. Great old ones can still capture cultists protected by a terror. However, being a separate unit type, they are not vulnerable to abilities that target monsters. You purchase them during the Doom phase, only 1 per phase, and I think you can pretty much gather as many as you like as well. So when it's your turn, sacrifice 2 Doom points and 2 power, and you know, if you want to, you can still do a Ritual of Annihilation, but you do this just before that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I do like these. Let's have a look at the Ramsey Campbell cards and units. Okay, so Ramsey Campbell's Horror Pack 1 is slightly different. You've got your insects from Shaggy, there's 3 of them. I believe we've got a red version of this in the Kickstarter extras. You've then got Glarky and then Eort, which are sort of old ones that are independent. And Eort has his own little brood of little gribblies. So yes, slightly different. Let's have a look at the miniatures and then we'll come back to these cards. Right, so we've got the insects from Shaggy here. Nice thing. You've got a skull here. You've got 3 bugs, a couple of other skulls. Not sure what that is there. Is that maybe an egg patch? Some crystals or something. So yeah, they are interesting little sculpts, and we've got 3 of those, so that's pretty nice. And as I say, we do have a red one of these, which I think was a Kickstarter stretch goal where each faction was going to get some colour-coded units, but I don't think we quite unlocked that all. So maybe if they do an Onslaught 3, we'll get to see the other unit colours. Who shall we go for next? Yes, Eeyort here. So weird, demonic-y, blob, spider, leg thing with teeth and too many eyes. Yeah, that's a pretty grim, weird thing. So I do enjoy that. That looks like a really nice figure. So yeah. And then we got Glarky, a sort of armoured, spiky slug. The joins on this could do with a serious bit of green stuff by the looks of it if you're going to paint up the miniature, but that's a fantastic sculpt, a real terrible slug snake thing with this pattern, which is very reminiscent, I have to say, of the insects. So yeah, very cool set of minis that. Let's have a look at the unit cards. Okay, so the insects are just regular neutral monsters. Cost 2, 0 combat. However, they have this mind parasite ability. So all acolyte cultists who are not on a gate and share an area with an insect from Shaggy are controlled by you during the action phase. You can move them and they may fight on your side in a battle. They don't benefit from anything else really, and then there's a whole load of stuff about what goes on. And once it's not in your area, it's free. So that's a pretty cool way to mess with people's plans, move stuff around to, you know, maybe guard yourself from attacks or prevent attacks or deny gate control, all sorts of fun and games. So yeah, they're quite a fun little unit card. Glarky, he's a little bit more involved because he's actually an independent old one. So it talks about awakening, death, spellbook, doom phase. Now what you've got to watch out for with these guys is they're a bit like neutral monsters in that you recruit them, they become yours. If you recruit it, you gain the spell. So that's your spell. The problem is if Glarky dies, it goes back into the pool and someone else can recruit them. So how do you awaken Glarky? Well, it costs 4. Your controlled gate is in an area with your Great Old One. Pay 4 power and place Glarky in the area containing the gate. In combat, it equals the number of acolyte cultists in your pool. So if you've got lots of dead acolytes, it gets really strong. And it's got Tomb Herd. Earn 1 power per acolyte cultist in your pool. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Of course, very situational. Now their spell is Green Decay. When a captured cultist is sacrificed and returned, gain an Elder Sign instead of your normal reward of 1 power. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, do quite like Glarky. Situationally though, more useful maybe than first appears. Eeyort, so again, costs 4. Your controlled gate is in an area with your Great Old One. So again, you've got to summon to your Great Old One. Pay 4 power, place it in the area of your gate. Again, combat of 0. It's got this brood ability. When you awaken Eeyort, immediately replace all of your acolyte cultists in play with brood tokens, which are these rather wonderful things here. Brood tokens are cultists with a combat of 1. They cannot take the move action, nor can they be moved by movement-like or movement-modifying abilities. Brood tokens can still be pained or moved by enemy abilities and spellbooks. So that's an interesting thing, especially if you kind of tie it up with Glarky. You can basically replace all your cultists with these combat-capable guys who just guard a gate, and suddenly Glarky's really powerful. So a nice little bit of synergy there, possibly. Let's have a look. 8 power though for that. Unclean Bargain. if you have any brood tokens in your pool, replace your acolyte cultists with brood tokens on a 1-for-1 basis until you run out of acolyte cultists or brood tokens. This is not optional. So basically, if your brood tokens die, they're going to replace your cultists. So all sorts of fun and games there I can see going on. Yeah, that is an interesting pack. It's going to really mix up things, I reckon, on how you're going to play the game. Anyway, let me pack this one away and let's have a look at Horrors 2, which has quite a few figures in by the looks of it. Well, here we are with pack 2. We have a monster unit, which we have 3 of these satyrs. Again, we have a red one of these from the Kickstarter extras. We've then got 2 gods, so let's have a look at the minis and then look at these cards. Okay, now this satyr is great. It's lost an arm. It's got like a horn and possibly an eye. It's got this really cool pose with a slightly weird face. Doesn't have your kind of typical weird legs, so they are an interesting take on the concept. And of course, these guys would be aligned with wgah'nagl, so I can understand why we've got a red one. As I say, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they maybe do with these colour-coded miniatures that we've only got a couple of from Onslaught 2. So yeah, nice figure. Again, slightly larger than your regular humanoid, which should give you an idea of scale when I bring out one of the next cards, which is units, I should say, which is Daoleth, which is a old one. Now, this is a weird figure, a little bit underwhelming in some ways because it's like a weird bundle of sticks or twigs, or I don't know really what it is. I guess that's the tail and that's the head. It's this weird spirally bundle of sticks and beads and crystals and stone, and I don't know too much about this particular great old one. It's rather small, but as you can see, still pretty big compared to this chap here, who is a little bit bigger than a regular humanoid. Yeah, bizarre. But not maybe as bizarre as this horrendous beast. This kind of fat person with mouths in their hands and eyes and sort of no head or a desiccated head. The skin is sort of too big for what's inside. Really unpleasant, and if you actually turn it up, that's kind of like an upside down face. So yeah, it's obviously someone who's been possessed and turned into this horrific maw beast. And I do know a little bit about this. I'm pretty sure stuff comes out of its maw. I don't know whether it's constantly like steam or blood or something. I can't quite remember. I'm sure there's something about these palms are not particularly pleasant, and this is a character that can often be mistaken for one of the avatars of Nyarlathotep, but I believe is actually its own thing, as per Ramsey Campbell. Anyway, let's have a look at the unit cards. Okay, with the satyr, we've got 3 of them. The classic monster, pay 2, get 1, and an acolyte cultist. That's pretty cool. Costs you 2 to recruit extras, 1 combat, and it's got a fecund ongoing ability. Each time you summon a satyr, also place an acolyte cultist. So although it costs 2, you get a free cultist. So that's actually pretty cool, particularly if you're losing your cultist, I guess. Nice way of getting a monster and a cultist, so a bit of a bodyguard for your cultist. So really like that, and obviously probably a great unit to buy if you're playing wgah'nagl. And yeah, not much more to say about that. Right, Daoleth. So punch it out. Okay. Cost 6. Okay, bit of a pricey person to recruit, and you've got to have a controlled gate with a great old one. Pay 6 power, place it on the gate. No combat. Very underwhelming so far. However, Cosmic Unity, pre-battle. In a battle involving Daoleth, choose one enemy great old one. It rolls no combat dice. It does, however, get its combat battle ability. So probably a good counter to Cthulhu, who's often a beat stick. although it doesn't stop Cthulhu maybe consuming people. Right, spellbook. When Daleth enters an area without a gate, place a gate. Okay, so this slightly underwhelming sounding Great Old One gives you a great ability to shut down enemies in battle, and once you unlock the spell, you also get the ability to just spawn gates pretty much for free. So that's pretty cool. That's interdimensional. Anyway, let's have a look at wgah'nagl. Okay. Cheap, only 2 to awaken, so got to have a Great Old One at a gate. Pay 2 power, place it at the gate. Combat of 1. And then, yes, post-battle orifices. Doesn't sound good. So if it's killed in battle, select a surviving enemy, terror, monster or cultist, replace it with wgah'nagl, then give the loyalty card to that player. If no enemy survived, dies normally, place this back into the middle. Okay, so it's cheap to buy, but it's likely to go wandering off. So you can basically get the spell book by being granted the card, and every player except you gets 1 Elder Sign. This is not optional, and that is every Doom phase. So yeah, this is probably a great enemy unit to, a great unit to buy, give to people, and then try and not get it back. So yeah, interesting mix of options there with these 3 packs. So you've got the terrors, and then these packs are giving you both an old one and also units, and they've got these weird funky abilities. And I didn't really spend too much time talking about how you acquire the spells with every single unit, but yeah, this one's particularly interesting. You've got this post-battle effect which grants you a spell book should you be given this card, and then it's got this ongoing Doom phase where everyone gets an Elder Sign, so you want to get this dead before your Doom phase should you be given this unit. Yeah, pretty cool. Definitely some interesting stuff here. Well, that's it for another video. I've really enjoyed opening up these 3 boxes. We've got Ramsey's Horrors Parts 1 and Almost in Shot 2, and the Cosmic Terrors. I'm really pleased to have opened these and had a look at them. Really excited at the chance to play the Great Race. I really love the sculpt. I can't stop fanboying over it. But I love the abilities of various other units and old ones. Talking of which, my final sort of video of the massive frenzy of unboxing is going to be the Great Old Ones, and there's actually 4 boxes of those, so we'll see how long it takes me to get through all those. That will be 1 or maybe 2 videos, depending on just how long it takes to unwrap and talk about things. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying the series so far, and I will see you in the next one.